Feel free to ask in the comment section. If you have any comments, feel free to put in the comment section. And please, yeah, first of all, I don't know if I've apologized if you've been waiting. Once again, I am sorry, sincere apologies, but we've had lots of tech issues this morning. So who's Bunmi Darlington? I have a little bit of profile that I got for Bunmi, and I'll just read it to you. Um, my name is Bunmi Darlington, right? Because I have said to do a little profile for us to share. A wife and a mother of three, a first degree with the University of Lagos, an MBA with London Metropolitan University. I also have various qualifications in accounting, project management, childcare, and special needs. My passion is working with children and ensuring they excel. I have over 35 years of experience working with children, and currently I work with children who have special needs with no formal school placements. I also provide advice and support to families raising children with special needs. And I've also launched my first book, Thriving Together. And that's in a nutshell is our guest of honor this morning. So hello, Bunmi. Excited. I'm so excited to have you here with us. Exciting times. We're going to have a wonderful time this morning. If you can still hear me, because for some reason I can't see you. I can't see your face on the live. I don't know if that's part of the glitch we're
I can
having.
hear you.
Okay, good, good. Can you tell us about yourself for me? Who's Bunmi Darling?
Well,
Can
in a
you,
nutshell, you said who
yeah.
I am. But I was born and raised in Nigeria. I'm the first of four. My dad was a medical doctor. He's late now, and my mom was a teacher, but she retired as a vice principal of a secondary school. Um, I I'm not sure what part of my story I need to talk. I mean, I'm a mother of three, like you said, and I was a victim of domestic violence and I escaped. I left in 2017 and been raising my children alone for a few years and then met someone else and I'm happily married again and loving life. My life has grown. I've had
Mm,
ups and downs, but I'm thankful for where I am today.
mm. Wow. Wow, fantastic. Thank you for sharing with us your story and being vulnerable with us. We also had a lady about 2 or 3 years ago who also was a victim of domestic violence and who also wrote a book. And it was a wonderful time. Honestly, she was vulnerable with us. She shared her story in her book. And so many people have come back off the back of that to say how they've felt free from what she shared and how her story as a testimony has helped them. So, I mean, it's just another testimony, your story to show that God can come through for you no matter who you are, what you've gone
Yeah,
through, and He
definitely.
can bring you through any trial. And so for anyone that's listening right now, you're going through something that you feel like you can come out of. These wonderful women are a testimony to the fact that we serve an amazing God who loves us immensely more than we can imagine, and who, despite what the society says, despite what people throw at you, because I can imagine all sorts, that would have gone on in that season. What matters most is what God says
Yeah,
about, right? For me, am I right in saying that?
yes, you're right.
Mm. Okay. So the second story, sorry, the second, well, part of your story that the second question is going to ask you is, we would like you to share with us the story about your journey today, what you
Okay,
feel comfortable to share with us, that will
okay.
be testimony that will strengthen someone out there, that will help someone out there, that will be a lifeline to someone out there. Because I always say that the secrets of great people are in the stories that they share. And
Yeah,
those stories are testimonies. And sometimes these testimonies, as a Christian, I feel the testimonies are prophetic in a way that whoever's listening to it can take that story and use it as a lifeline to draw themselves out of whatever situation they are going through. So
Mhm.
over to you.
I think I'll start at the beginning because it's always good to lay the right foundation. And I will also own my own mistakes. I am the kind of person that reflects. I do a lot of self-reflection. So where I know I was wrong, I will come out. I don't think it's only been one person I've actually been open with about my part in the whole thing. So I got married first time in 2003 and met my ex here in the UK. We worked together. Now, there were a lot of things happening at the time, and we had picked a date to get married, and my dad kicked against it. He said no. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know what he found out, what he discovered, but he said no, he didn't want it. But at the time, there were two things going on in my mind. Oh, this is who I want to marry, as well as, oh, we already picked a date. I didn't want to cancel it. I mean, the disgrace and everything. So I own my own part in the whole thing because the signs were there from the start. And whilst we were dating twice, I actually broke up with him. I don't think I've ever voiced this out to anyone. Twice I broke up because of certain things I saw and I didn't like, and he begged and he promised to change, and I believed him. And we got married. I mean, the marriage from the start was, I mean, like with every marriage, you'd expect you have your honeymoon period and then everything starts to get better. But we didn't really have a honeymoon period because, I mean, I used to keep diaries. And a few weeks ago, I came upon some of my old diaries and I was reading, and there were things I wrote that I'm looking at today. I'm thinking, Bumi, you knew from the start this was wrong. But I went with it. There were issues. He was controlling. He tried to alienate me from family and friends. Um, he Later on, I discovered that he had a complex. He used to say things like, "Oh, do you think your family is rich, or do you think your family is richer than me? I have money, this, that, and the other. I'm my own man." But I was raised in a family where everything worked. As far as I knew, I didn't see anything wrong growing up. Myself, my three younger siblings, my mom, my dad, we were a close knit family, but also we worked together. Everything was open. So I didn't have an experience of what I was now going through. I had never seen this before. So I didn't know how best to handle it. So I stuck in there. I had my first child in 2005. There were issues from the word go. He said I didn't want to have children immediately, so we got married 2003. I had her in 2005, but he wasn't happy. For that pregnancy, he accused me of infidelity. And as God will have it, the girl looked like him. It continued struggling, pushing things on. Prior to getting married, I mean, a job. I was working, doing my 9 to 5. And then when I had my first daughter, I started a business, a childcare business, breakfast after school and holiday club. And I started running it because I wanted to be present for my child. I didn't want to give my child to anybody, so I wanted to be there. Then I had my second child in 2007, and things just got worse because the he had issues, self-esteem issues, like I said. He was always jealous of any male I had any acquaintance with. If I talked about my siblings in any way, he used to shut me down and like, do I think my family is all that, this, that, and the other? So I just learned to keep quiet and just focus on the two children I had. And we kept on living one day at a time. He was physically abusive, he was verbally abusive, emotionally. I mean, he had this front he gave the whole world that he was a different person, but in the house, it was a completely different story. In 2007, I had my second daughter in September, and my dad passed I had a stroke about a month afterwards. And at the time, I couldn't travel and I wanted him to travel. And he was like, no, he wasn't going to travel. My dad was in a coma. He refused. And I was just all over the place. I was in pieces. And then my dad passed in November and I couldn't go for the funeral. And he didn't go for the funeral. And he was just, I mean, he didn't care. And at that time, I just felt, yes, my dad's gone. I knew that at that point for me was, yeah, this is the end of the marriage, because this was the one person I didn't want to know I failed at this. And from 2007, when I had my second child, um, I was running the business, focusing on building myself, developing myself. But this guy had issues. He would say things like, if you ever get more successful than me, I will divorce you. He used to insult me. He used to insult my family at every opportunity he got. He didn't want my family around me. I mean, he was just not a nice person, just to put it nicely. He wasn't nice. And in 2008, I had the opportunity to go home for my dad's 1 year memorial. And thankfully, at that time, my youngest brother was getting married. So it was a case of I got to Lagos on a Wednesday, no, on a Tuesday. On the Thursday, Tuesday, no, on the Wednesday, we had my dad's 1 year memorial. On the Thursday, my brother had his traditional. And then on the Saturday, his wedding. And then we had the Sunday. On Monday, I came back to the UK and I traveled with my two children. And whilst I was in Lagos, I was all over the place, just, I mean, not feeling too well. And so when I came back, I just felt maybe I had malaria. And I went to the GP to get checked out. And my GP said, asked so many questions. Where are you coming from? I said, I'm coming from Lagos. That probably I have malaria. I don't feel well. And he said, okay, when was your last menstrual period? I told him, oh, that's true. I should have had my period prior to going to Lagos. But because of everything that was happening, all the emotions, I didn't even take note. So he said, let's just do a pregnancy test and rule out. I said, there's no way I can be pregnant. I have a coil in. He said, sometimes they fail. Lo and behold, I was pregnant with my third child. And I was scared. I couldn't tell him. I was terrified. I called my mom, and my mom was like, you have to tell him. I mean, I said, Mom, I'm taking this pregnancy out. She was like, no, you have to tell him. And I told this man eventually, and that was it. I got a massive lashing. I mean, he went all on me. I went to Lagos. I was sleeping around with people. I went and brought somebody else pregnancy to him, that he's not the father of this pregnancy. He's not the one responsible. And I said, listen, you're educated. How can you say I went to Lagos the upper week and I've come back a week after and I slept with someone in that time and I'm pregnant now and it's positive? I mean, that maths doesn't work out. But he was insistent. I mean, that pregnancy was horrible. Twice, my midwife told me I had to take it easy. My blood pressure was going through the roof because of the stress he was putting me through at home. At that time, during that pregnancy, it was all verbal and emotional abuse, to the point whereby my older daughter, I mean, at that time she was 4, she was she'll be the one to say, no, 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 Dad, this is where we went. No, 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 Dad, we went to work and we came straight from the club home. We didn't go anywhere. She was always the one coming in, intervening. For a small girl. At that time, she already knew things were not right. And she was always coming to my defense. And both children were always latching on to me. They never used to leave me alone because they were always scared of what would happen. So I gave birth to this boy, my amazing son, who was a spitting image of my ex. I mean, it was scary. And I had this boy, I had to do, he made me do a paternity test for him. And I think that was the
Really?
lowest point. Yes, that was the lowest point in my life. Everything before didn't matter. I was just at that point that this man made me feel so dirty. I felt as if I was nothing. I didn't, I was just dirt. How could you? I mean, the other two, you accused me, but this one, he insisted I do a paternity test. And I did it. And when the result came, I just handed it to him. He said, will I not open it? I said, no, I don't need to open it. I know the father of all my 3 children. You're the one that needs the answer. And life just, I mean, for me, I checked out at that point, that there was nothing much. Between that time and the 2017, I left finally. I had left twice. The first one I left for just maybe there was an issue in the house where he brought an axe at me. He wanted to attack me, and I had to hold the door in between us. And on that particular one, I called his mom. His mom said, "Take your children, leave the house." So I left.
Said
Uh,
that.
yes, that she doesn't want the death of anybody on her neck. And she was an elderly woman. And she said, "Leave, just take the children and run." So I was in a B&B for about a week with the children. And his elder brother came in. My mom got involved. And I went back. The second time I left for 8 months. And he was begging. My pastor, God bless him, Pastor O, said we had to go through counseling. I mean, I had an amazing support from my church and from my siblings. I mean, they
Mm.
were my rock. They were the ones that actually enabled that move. They gave me money to be able to afford a new place and move out with my children. And I was out for 8 months. And during that period, I settled myself, settled my children, but then obviously went through counseling, did everything everybody said to do, but you have to go back and make it work. So I went back. My biggest mistake, because when I went back, it got worse.
Went
I
back
thought,
again.
yes, I thought my life was horrible before, but this time it was hell.
Mm.
I used to run the club, like I said, and I used to pick children up. I had a seven-seater minibus and an eight-seater minibus, and he took the keys. He didn't, I
Oh,
mean, I had to hire mini buses. He said, by the time I wreck you, you will know who you're supposed to face. That I'm the one that's supposed to be the one that's in control of everything you do. There
what?
were points there where I'm the first. I have my immediate is a girl. Then I have two brothers. My brother, the third one, he's in Devon. He used to send money.
Mm.
Prior to my father passing, he sent money to me several times
Mm.
because this man wasn't giving me anything, especially when I was on maternity leave and I didn't have, I mean, I stayed home 12 months. My dad was supporting me during that period. And my sibling is on here. She's watching, I'm sure, but she's hearing this for the first time, I'm sure. Um,
Wow.
so I moved back, and the next thing was, oh, I came back because the man I moved in with chased me out. He didn't want me anymore. That I'm dirt, I'm this, that, and the other. And then I used to get hits. Sometimes he would just shut me out. And you know, one of the things is I would cook, he wouldn't eat. Sometimes I would cook. I would have gone to work, come back, cook for this man. He would tell me to put it on the floor beside him because he just sit on the floor there in the sitting room. I'll put it on the floor, and then he won't eat for 2 hours, and then he'll call me that the food is cold. I should go and heat it up for him. I'll dutiful wife. I'll go heat it up, bring it back to him. Um, there were so many things he did, including even sexual abuse. I mean, it was bad because
Mm.
I didn't want any physical intimacy with this man at this point because I'm like, okay, I had for my first daughter actually, I had a patch. I got pregnant. For my
Mm.
second child, I was on the pill. I got pregnant. For this boy, I had a coil. I got pregnant.
Oh
So I was
my
like,
days.
when I had my son, I had my tubes tied. I'm like, I don't want anything else. And I just thought, no, I don't want anything with this man anymore. But he used to force himself on me. I used to be in pain. I used to bleed a lot. It was terrible. And I suffered in silence. It was just my children. I mean, sometimes now I hear them talking and I'm scared that, so they knew this. They will talk about the time. Can you remember when daddy broke mommy's laptop? Can you remember when dad punched mommy? Can you remember this, that, and the other? I mean, a week after I had my three children, my C-section. The third one, when I came home, a week after, he punched me out cold. I was changing this boy and I still had fresh wound. Yeah, he punched me
Oh,
out cold. He was nasty to neighbors. I will tell you this, I don't have anything to hide. He burnt our neighbor's shed. He destroyed another neighbor's cars. You just pour paint stripper on it because he said they were racist,
some sort
says
of
racist.
mental problem, or it's just his personality.
Even when I suggested him getting professional help, he turned it on me that I was the one that had mental health issues. I did everything I could the second
That's
time when I
amazing.
went back. I tried to get counseling and it got really bad because he changed churches and was going to a new church. He started going to a church called TKFC. I will name and shame their shires they're the ones that are pastors of that church. And He on a particular occasion he strangled me, and he tried to kill me, and I screamed and I pushed and I managed to get away on that occasion. And I went to Devon to see my brother, and he told me, because he saw my neck that particular instance, he said, "You're not going back." I said, "I have to. My children are
Hmm.
there. I'll be fine." Whilst before I left, went to Devon, I had sent an email. I called up this is his pastor, and but he wasn't in church, so I was given his email address. I sent him a detailed email about what had happened, and I needed help. Whilst I was in Devon, I got the email, I saw it, and I was like reading it, and I showed my brother the email. I don't even know if my brother remembers that. He said, "For me, look at um the section where you put the people who you sent the email to." What this man had done, I said this man because I don't believe that if a man was being led by God, he would have done what he did. He had forwarded my email as a reply to me, but had also copied my husband in, my ex. So
Wow.
the report I made was at the bottom, and then my ex's email address, my email address were all at the top with his response that, oh, he wanted to see both of us, this, that, and the other. He's disappointed that I don't go to that church. It's my ex that started going there, left our church and started going there. And he laid in into me as if I was the one that had a problem.
Hmm.
So we went, and he threatened me if I said anything to the pastor that he was going to deal with me. We got there, and I was just praying. We got there. The pastor kept on asking questions. So I answered that this was what he did. He tried to kill me. He strangled me. He held me to the floor, pinned me, was on top of me. And the next thing the pastor says, oh, that he told me that he was trying to restrain you, that he didn't touch my neck. And I opened my mouth. I'm like, okay. So
Hmm.
if he told you he was restraining me, did you ask him, what did I do? What was he trying to
Exactly.
restrain me from?
Hmm.
What would have led to him wanting to restrain me? What was I doing? He didn't ask
Hmm.
any of those questions. And I looked at this man and I'm like, I can't believe a man of God would be saying this. The next thing he says is, oh, that if both of us know we want to make this marriage work, we have to come back to him and we have to sign an undertaking and we have to do everything he tells us to do. And if we know we don't want the marriage, we also should come back and tell him, and he'll tell us which way to go and how to divide the assets. And I'm
Wow.
looking at this man. And prior to that meeting, I had emailed his wife that because the tone of the email I got from him made me feel uncomfortable. So I sent an email to, and everything is, I have the emails. I
Hmm.
sent an email to this woman and said, can you please be present as a woman just to support me? Because I don't believe, and I said, I don't mean it to be disrespectful to your husband, but I don't feel as a man he understands my point of view and my fear,
Hmm.
especially as he's forwarded my own complaints to the man I'm complaining
Hmm.
about. Seriously. And she didn't come to the meeting. When I left the meeting, I saw her response that, oh, that what I said is very disrespectful, that whatever it is her husband has said is what will happen, then that is the end of the matter. When I left that
Hmm.
place that day, I told him that you will never see me in this church again. I took my two shoes off, dusted them, and walked out, and I left. And when that happened, I checked out. I started looking for places to move to. I didn't move until a year after that particular incident because I didn't find a place. I had a property I had before I sold it so that I could
Hmm.
afford to move somewhere else. And just before I left, the last incident that happened was his mom had passed. He'd gone to Lagos for the funeral. And
Hmm.
when he got back on a Wednesday. I didn't see this man until the Saturday. And he just came in, woke me up. And bearing in mind all this year, sometimes he goes for days, I don't see him. Sometimes he'll go and he hunts. He has several air rifles. So I've been very careful in my dealings with this man because I didn't want any problems. Um, he came back very early, was waking me up on the Saturday morning, shouting at me, I should come down, come down. And I'm like, what is it? I jumped up, I was scared. What was going on? My middle child was watching a program on TV. She wakes up very early. My children were competitive swimmers, so we have a habit of waking up early. By 5 a.m., they're at the pool training.
Hmm.
So they wake up early every
Hmm.
day. So
Hmm.
this girl was up early. and was watching a program that her older sister watched. I can't even remember the name of the program, but it's one of these teenage reality programs that it's about a dance group, and both of them belong to a dance and a performing arts school as well. And
Mm.
I've told them that when the younger one wants to watch it, it had to be with her older sister because there were some language
Mm.
teenagers use I didn't want her to listen to. So her older sister would obviously mute it at that time. But she had woken up and she had just gone to watch it. And he came, started accusing me that I was a terrible mother. Look at the kind of program I'm letting my child watch, that I want them pregnant, that I'm a prostitute, I want my children to follow prostitution like me, that I sleep around. And I'm like, you've just come back from Lagos. I haven't seen you. You stayed in my parents' house. My mom provided you with a roof, with food, with a car and a driver, supported you during your mother's funeral, and you made a promise to this woman you're going to change and take care of us. And this is the first thing you're doing. I now said, I'm going upstairs to pick up my phone and call my mother. Let my mom hear, because my mom was like, oh, Bunmi, give him another chance. He will change. I've spoken to him. So I went up the upstairs to pick up my phone. And I was at the top of the stairs trying to dial my mom, and he just pushed me. And I went rolling down the stairs. As I was going down, I was screaming, crying. My daughter downstairs ran up, came to me. My son and my older daughter were upstairs, woke up, and I was on the floor. I couldn't get up. My back, I had hurt my back. I was crying on the floor. The children were crying. He was raining curses and abuses at me. That if I want to die, I should die. He doesn't care. He will deny ever touching me. That he didn't do anything to me. That if I want to die, I should just go. And the children were crying. Now,
Mm.
what happened after? I didn't know the full details until 2 years ago when my oldest, because we never talked about it, until my
Mm.
oldest told me.
Mm.
The next thing, I was on the floor begging and crying, I need help, I need help. The children wanted to take the phone. He yanked the phone out of the socket from the wall. He grabbed my phone because I had one personal one for work. He grabbed the two. He wasn't letting anybody, he was screaming at the children to shut up. He wasn't letting anybody have access to a phone. Um, Not long after, I don't know how long I lay there, I heard banging on the door.
Mm.
And of my three children, it's my middle child that's the boldest. She just got up. He was shouting, nobody should open the door. They should all be quiet. I was crying. They were crying. She just got up and opened the door. There are two
Mm.
doors. She opened the first one and quickly ran and opened the second one. And two of my friends came in. And I
Mm.
didn't know how. They just came in. They didn't say a word. One of them took the three children to the kitchen. The other one went upstairs, got me a change of clothes because I was still in my nightdress. Got me a change of uh, um, outfit, and I put something else on. And she took me straight, just took me straight out. We went to the hospital, and I took a picture of myself and I sent it to my siblings. And my sister was ready to come and kill somebody. She lives in the States. Um,
I
I
will
think
be like your
my
sisters. Like
my
you just beat somebody.
yeah, my younger brother, one of them had called the police, and I mean, everyone was scared. They didn't know what was happening. The next thing, I see him in the hospital with my children. What had I did? They didn't let him come near me because I told the doctor what had happened, and um, when I was released from the hospital for a good few weeks, he was running. I knew he used to come home, but I didn't know when. But he
Mm.
used to just sneak in and out, and police came several times thinking I was hiding this man. I'm not hiding him. They'll come in. So on a particular morning, my daughter came and woke me up. That mom, the police are outside, and they said I should be quiet. So I went down. Yeah,
Yes.
it's the middle child. It's still my middle child. And then she had opened the door for them. And I went and they said, where is he? I said, I'm not sure, but I hear movement behind the house because we have an extra room at the back, behind the kitchen at the back of the house. So I just looked. I could see him bending down, picking up things in there. So I just
Mm.
pointed that he was there, and then they went straight. And they arrested him, and he was taken away. And I mean, he was released after a while, and I don't, he works in antisocial behavior. He has friends in the police force. I don't know what he did, what he said to them. Anyway, he was released. They came home with him and they said, oh, he's promised he would not do anything, this, that, and the other. I didn't say anything. But at that time, I had found a place. I had sold my other house. I'd found a place and I moved. In 2017, I moved. Now, 2 years ago, 'cause now I have a back injury, and as a result of that incident, and I was in pain, and just I told my son to help me massage my back, and all. And my daughter said, "Mom, what happened to your back? Is it from the fall?" I said, "Yes, that it still hurts, and I'm having physio, I'm using medication for it, and all." And I said, "Come to think of it, we've never really talked about this. Um, how did my two friends get there? I had When all this was going on, I'd given my children a phone, and it was
Mm,
hidden, and there were some numbers on that phone.
mm,
And it was her phone, but she was still too young at the time to have her own phone. So I kept it hidden that should anything happen, these are the numbers to call.
mm.
And whilst I was on the floor, I know she asked him, "I want to go to the toilet." And he said, "Go upstairs and leave the door open." And she said, "Dad, I'm not going to leave the door open. I want to wee." And she
Mm.
went, and then she came back down. Apparently, when she went upstairs, she noticed he wasn't looking. She quickly went and picked the phone where I hid it and locked herself in the toilet and sent a message to my two friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my, how old was
And
she?
um she was
Such
she was
emotional
11. I think
intelligence.
she was 11 or 12 at the time.
Mm,
And that was how my friends, I didn't know. I didn't know how they
mm,
got there. And it never even occurred to me to ask after everything that happened.
mm,
So I left with my children. He didn't behave as if anything happened. I mean, I left and I was happy. I got counseling for myself, for my children, and I got support from the council who put
mm,
them in domestic violence counseling group as well.
mm,
And all throughout that time, my son was, I mean, his behavior was just all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. I was all over the place. But throughout that period, when I left, it was then I realized there's something wrong with this boy. And he was having issues in school. And I was working with children, and I was looking at him and other children. Their development was not quite the same. And I was having battles with the school. He had been excluded from the school. He and his sisters were. He went to another school within the group. They're a multi-academy trust. He went to another of their primary schools. He was excluded there. He went to a third one within. He was excluded there. All throughout that period, we found out that he had special needs. He was autistic. He was diagnosed with autism. So I started working with my son. I got him the fourth primary school he went to had a resource based where they gave him all the support he needed. I mean, we were going through it at that time. My business, everything. I mean, my business collapsed. I lost everything. Um,
mm,
I was struggling. I was
mm,
struggling. I had next to nothing. My children, it was like starting afresh.
mm,
And I thank God for my siblings. I say this, I couldn't have gone through that period without my siblings, especially my sister. I
mm,
mean, she was my rock. She she would encourage me. She would talk to me. I mean, the thing she used to say, she didn't know how powerful those words were, building me up, back up again. Because I had lost all self-esteem. I mean, it was like I was nothing. I was a shell, and I had friends that I could call on. The
mm,
two ladies that came that day were always there. Their husbands were always there.
mm,
Another friend of mine, who went to secondary school together, both herself and her husband would tell me, "Bring the children, let them stay with me." And at that time, my oldest daughter was in a boarding school. She had won a swimming scholarship, but we still had a portion of the fees to pay. This
mm.
man was not paying that. He said he was going to pay. He wasn't paying that. I didn't know. My daughter was literally kicked out of that school in her in year 9. Was it 9?
Wow.
No, year 10. Year 10. She was preparing for GCSEs, and she was kicked out of that school. She was at home for a month before I found another school for her to go to locally. And you can imagine, I look at her today, and I'm thankful to God because she's in university. She's also running her own business, and she's thriving in a way that I
Wow.
mean, I couldn't have asked God for more for her because she was in the thick of it. She saw it all and she bore
Mm.
a lot of the scars.
Mm.
And the impact her leaving that school had on her was major. It was major. And the fact that the subject she had picked, she had now had to go to another school. And imagine you are doing your exams next academic year and they kick you out at the end of this
Mm.
academic academic year. And it was a struggle for her. Well, she did it. She passed her GCSEs, passed her A levels, got her admission. She's in her second year, September final year. And my two other children, even my son who's autistic, you would never know because I worked with him, I prayed with him. I mean, this is the boy that um he wouldn't give you eye contact, he wouldn't go out. His anxiety level went
Mm.
through the roof. Lockdown made it even
Mm.
worse because he was scared of everything. My son is thriving. I put him in so many activities in scouts. He did athletics. Um, he was, I mean, I just made sure he wasn't affected. I got him support. He had counseling.
Mm.
Um, and because also I had experience working with children with special need, I threw everything I knew at him. And my middle child, the fighter, that girl
Mm.
took me to hell and back. My sister is the one person that would, I mean, sometimes I'll just call her that this girl wants to kill me. She'll pick up the phone to her that don't kill you want to hurt my sister, did this, that, and the other, that she might be your mom, but she's my sister. I mean, my daughter was like, she used to say, I hate auntie, I hate auntie. I said, yeah, because you wanted to hurt her sister. But she is a sweet, sweet girl. She
Yeah.
has a mother's heart. She's the one that when I
Mm.
travel, I can tell to take care of the other two and know that
Mm.
it will get done. She's the one that calls me when she's leaving school, calls me when she's on the train, calls to find out, mommy, where are you? Why are you not yet home? She has a mother's heart and she is kind. She's generous. And I
Mm.
look at three of them today and I say, Lord, I thank you. Because if anyone had told me then I will be where I am today, I would say no. I mean, when I started dating again, my oldest daughter told me, Mom, you don't need anybody. You've got me. And I said, I want to get married again. She said, no, you're not
Oh,
allowed to.
okay.
That because if my dad could do what he did to you, then any man can. And
Mm.
I didn't want my children to have that impression of men, especially my oldest daughter, because she saw it all. And I told her that no, not all men are like that. That look, you've got wonderful male role models around you. And she
Yeah.
made a statement. She said, Mom, I see them, I know them, my uncles, your friends' husbands, I see them, how good they are. But my dad was my number one role model. And so that kind of affected her thinking. So
Mm.
for me, I was intentional. And
Mm.
she said, Mom, don't get married. I said, fine, if you don't want me to get married, I won't get married. And then you too, you won't get married. And she said, fine, we'll both stay together and take care of each other. I'm like looking at this girl that you actually know what you're saying. When you meet one guy now, you will not say that. Anyway, when I started dating,
Yeah.
she was the one person that she wasn't friends with him. She wasn't rude or anything. I mean, the one that was friends with him, middle child, was the one that was rude to him.
Mm.
My youngest son used to hate us. He used to beat
Mm.
us. Jonathan, when he went into his meltdown mode, he used to destroy things in the house. I called the police 4 times for this boy before he was 10.
Wow.
Yes, because
Wow.
that's how he when he had his meltdowns, you couldn't, it was a mist, it was like a red mist. You couldn't see anything or hear anything. But on one occasion he wanted to attack me. My
Mm.
husband just stepped in front of me and my
Mm.
son just stopped. And it was as if something woke him up. He looked at this man and looked at
Mm.
me, looked at this man, and he just went to his room and started crying. And that was the
Mm.
last time he laid a hand on anybody.
Mm.
And my I had family counseling for all of us
Good.
because I was struggling with these children. And their
Mm.
dad had said, don't worry, when these children frustrate you, you come begging. I said, never.
Wow.
I would rather die. I had family counseling. A lot came out. A lot came out. These children internalized so much, but I realized that I wasn't the only one that went through abuse. They
They
did.
did. They
They
did.
saw so much. A lot was exposed. And I would encourage anyone going through this. I don't think it's just you. Please get your children sorted. That family counseling, the lady who did the counseling had a session with each one of us individually,
Mm,
then had a session with all the children together, then
mm,
had a session with myself and each of them one by one. Then we had several, but two or three together. There
mm.
was a time I was just crying because three of them laid into me. My
Wow.
daughter blamed me, my first daughter, for going back and
Mm,
for causing all the pain. That
mm,
because I went back, they had to experience, they had to see me
mm,
hurt.
mm,
And I was pained because many times they tell you go back because of your children, go back because of children. Don't go back because of the children. You
mm,
are causing more harm than good for these children. Marriage is not a do or die. If you're alive, then you can thrive, you can
mm.
survive, you can achieve much.
Yeah.
I live today as a testimony because I literally went from my dad was a medical doctor. He had several medical practices, several buildings, several hospitals in Lagos. By any standard, my dad was wealthy. For someone to
Mm,
be sending me money from Nigeria
mm,
in the UK to take care of me, he had more than enough to spare and he wasn't poor in any way. And then I became somebody who had nothing. I couldn't afford to feed my children. There was a time we went to the food bank to get food. There were times my friends used to just buy me food. There was one Christmas, my secondary school mates, they just turned up with food,
mm.
bags of rice, cartons of tin tomato, drinks, presents for my children. And I'm like, God, what did I do to deserve this? But I had help. I had support. I had people who had my back at every point. And I don't take any one of them for granted, to be sincere. When I saw, I mean, when my one of this, my friend, I said her husband and I went to secondary school together, the husband and I said, bring the children. She invited me for the Career Nuggets soiree, that second one actually, but that was my first one. She invited me and I sat in that room and I felt tiny. I felt
Mm,
as if I was inconsequential. And I'm like,
mm,
yes, with all these qualifications that I have, and I'm sitting in the room with professionals, and I felt like I was nothing. I felt I was out of place because I'm hearing what Career Nuggets is doing for people, and I'm here sitting there. I'm nobody. But
mm.
every year she invited me, and every year I went. And when they said they wanted to do the the Career Nuggets, sorry, it skipped my head, the course,
Coach,
I was like, I want to do this because I want to rediscover myself. I want to find myself again. I want
mm,
to know where I belong. I know what I want to do, but I just don't know how to do it.
mm.
So I contacted Sister Morenike, and I call her Sister Morenike because she's a sister.
I call us the Americans.
It's not easy to have an MBE tied behind your name, I tell you, but that woman is amazing. I
Rich.
told
Yeah.
her that I want to do it, but I can't afford it. I don't have enough to feed, not to talk of being able to afford this course. But I said, I reached out, said, Bumi, do you want to do it? I said, yes, I want to do it. And she said, don't worry, I'll sort it out. And I get this email from her that Precious Pearls have decided to, I didn't even know who Precious Pearls were, to fund my place on the course. And I'm like, okay. And I did the course. So one of the things that I took, I mean, there were so many things that were talked about that applied mainly to someone who was in the workplace.
Mm,
But for me, what I took out was confidence in
mm.
myself. I came away from that course thinking, I can be anything, I can do anything, I have all it takes. I just need to sit and plan. I mean, I learned I have my vision board is big, and they think my children are like, "Mom, is that?" I say, "Yes, that's the kind of house I want." Don't worry,
That's
just keep looking.
amazing. I love that.
And I put everything I wanted on that board, and I'm
Mm.
taking them off one by one. And I'm
Amen.
thankful to God. Now, when my son was in between getting a space in one of the schools, he was at home. And I discovered this company, Equal Education, and
Yeah.
I started working with them. And what they were looking for were people who would tutor children who had no school places. Really, it
Mm,
was like children who had been excluded.
mm,
And I didn't start out with children with special needs. I started out with children with behavior issues. And
Mm.
then my son was at home and then he got a tutor. And I'm looking, if that tutor can work with my son, I can work with any child. So I requested specifically for children with special needs. And that's how I've been
Mm.
working with them since. And these are children who, for whatever reason, have no school places.
Right.
The special needs schools are full, and
Mm.
a lot of the children don't have space. But then there's also a group of special needs children who are in the middle. They're not high
Right.
functioning, so they cannot stay in mainstream, and they're not severe where they're in the
Mm.
severe needs schools.
Yeah.
There are those in the middle. So I worked with those children because those children, it was more difficult to find schools for them, but they were challenging to work with.
Mm.
But over the years, I've just found out that it just comes naturally to me working with these children. I work with children anyway, but this particular group of children, I've been able to work with them and seen progress. The
Mm.
benefit to me and to those families has been amazing. And that
Mm.
was what led me to writing the book I wrote. I mean, many people would think I would write a book about my life or their business. No, it was about um, the children with special needs. And also, I wanted to be the help I didn't get
Mm.
for Jonathan when he was going through all that issues with the
Yeah.
school. Because
Mm.
I wish I knew then what I know now about
Mm.
special needs and how to
Right.
support children. It would
Right.
have made things easier for him and for every one of us as a family, because it wasn't just him that was affected. It have impacted everybody in the family. It's a major thing. So I decided to write that book. And over the years, I've been collecting. My sister will say, "Oh, all this information you have, monetize it, monetize it." I'm like, "I don't know how to monetize it." She'll send me ideas. She'll send me all these things. And then one day I just thought, let me just do this and surprise her. And
Mm.
I told her I'd written a book, and I sent a draft to her. And she was looking. She read it for me before it was
Mm.
printed, and I just thought there are a few things I picked up over the years that I felt parents need, especially
Mm.
parents. I mean, this book is actually applicable to all parents, but
Mm.
I targeted those with special needs because you can imagine you have a child who doesn't have special needs but has challenging behavior. That book
Yeah.
is also going to be very useful for them. But
Mm.
I put in information in there that parents need to know. And
Mm.
one of the most important things within that book is parents taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
It was important for me to let parents know that if anything happens to them, that child they're running after, the mollycoddling, they're trying to protect, is going to suffer. They need to take care of themselves. I mean, within the book, it's got self-help tips. It's got also for them to celebrate that child. I mean, all the years I've been working with these children, I have actually listed the things I have picked up from a lot
Mm.
of these children. A lot of them have a special, I mean, it's a hidden skill, but if you nurture it, it comes out to the surface. There are some who are problem solvers. Any puzzle you put in front of them, or any, if you have a flat, there's a particular boy, a flat pack table or bed or equipment, anything, put it down in front of him, put the instructions in front of him. This is a non-verbal child.
Mm.
He would look at the pictures, just sit and study the pictures, put all the pieces down. This boy will put it together,
Mm.
but he can't speak.
Amazing. Amazing.
There are some who it's art. Oh,
Mm.
when some of them draw for you, you will be shocked.
Mm.
And they can't speak.
Mm.
There are some who can speak, but cannot have a two-way conversation. They're all classified as non-verbal. But you say something, they echo it. You say something, they echo it back. They're not able to say, good morning, and say, oh,
Mm.
how are you? I'm fine, thank you. If
Mm.
you say good morning, they'll say good morning. How are you? They'll say, how are you?
Mm.
But some of these children, put a book in front of them. They will read it. And you think they're not reading it. Put questions about that book. They will answer the questions accurately.
Wow.
Some, there's one, if I work with him and
Mm.
we do, say, Egypt as a subject, and we talk about Egypt, we look at um, the ways of the Egyptians, the way they dress, the way they eat, everything you find in Egypt. By the time I come the next day, his mom will give me his tablet, his browsing histories about Egypt, 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 Egypt.
Wow.
He would have learned, and then he'll start echoing Egypt, the land of the Sphinx, Egypt, the land of, and this is how he rocks lands of the Pharaoh, lands of the pyramid. He keeps going like this, and he's recounting everything he has read.
Wow.
Now, imagine if you put that child in an environment, and these are children who have no school places, they're at home. I'm teaching them at home. Put that child in an environment that has all the resources he needs. Do you think that child will not thrive? And
Hmm.
that's where the book came about, that I needed parents to look beyond um, this so-called
Disability.
disability,
Yeah.
because it's really just an impairment. It becomes a disability because the society makes it impossible for them to function.
Function. Yes.
So there are tips in there on what to do, how to help those children, how to support them. It's a book that every family should have, especially
Mm.
if everyone is involved in taking care of the child. Also, there's a section I'll show you within the book where I put at the end of it. It's a small book, very, very small. See, very small. But at the end of every chapter, what I've done is I have put like a blank page.
Mm.
And on this chapter, it says, make a list of your child's strengths. Remember, nothing is insignificant. Sometimes when you write these things down, it tells you, makes it real, and you're able to see what otherwise you wouldn't have seen. I mean, here,
Thing.
at the end of another chapter, I wrote, list practical ways you can take care of yourself. List 3 people who can support you. When you put
Mm.
these things, it's a work. I mean, I want it to be a work. It is so small that, see, you can put it in your
Yeah.
handbag, in your pocket, take it everywhere with you.
Like a journal as well.
Exactly. And once you read something in the chapter, there's list ways you can celebrate your child. Just put it there. And sometimes when you're struggling, when you're going through, or your child is having a meltdown, and the meltdowns are bad, you
Mm.
feel as if you're losing your senses. Sometimes you just go into a quiet corner, take the book, read about the things you can celebrate about this child. Look at the things that your child can do, what they have achieved, and what they can achieve. It would help bring you back to the now. And then also taking time to take care of yourself. Yes, you're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to cry. We're humans. We have feelings. We don't need to bottle it up. My children see me cry a lot. I mean, over the
Mm.
years, they've seen me cry a lot, and they understand why. And when I'm laughing, they're like, Mom, my son comes to me and he says, Mom, it's been a long time. When I was really laughing and being happy, I said, Mom, it's been a long time since I've seen you really laugh. I'm like, but I
Oh.
laugh all the time. They said, No, Mom, you're happy now. You used to laugh before because you had to, but now we can tell you're happy.
Mm.
And
Wow.
a child with special needs feeds off your own emotions as well, so they can tell. And so for me, this book is, I mean, the title is Thriving Together, a self-care guide for families raising unique children. It is a self-care guide, really, for the parents, so they
Where can
can do better.
we buy? Where can the viewers who, are listening to you, where can we get the book to buy?
It's on Amazon. I also have it on my TikTok shop. I mean, that's where I put them on TikTok shop. It just seems so easy to
The
I'll
TikTok.
share this. I don't know if you can see this. I can
Um,
send it to you.
Thriving.
It's
Oh,
Thriving Horizons 01
okay.
um for Instagram, and then Thriving Horizons on TikTok. Just Thriving Horizons. It's in there.
Are you on
Um
Facebook?
yes, it's also Thriving Horizons on Facebook. So you can contact me on any of those platforms. I have tons of copies here as well. And a copy is £10, and I'll send it to as many people as are interested.
Mhm. Fantastic.
So really,
Thank
that's my story. That's the journey, and this is where I am today.
Oh my God. That's been, I don't even know where to start. Oh my God, that's all I can say. And just look at you. Look at how you're glowing. I mean, if you anyone has heard all of that you've gone through, just looking at how you're glowing and what you've brought out of it. And I always say that whatever we go through in our lives, sometimes it's really painful and difficult. And I
Yeah.
believe that God something to come out of it that we can use to empower our world. Something like you've done, something's going to come out of it that's going to be a blessing to the
Mm.
world. And our logo, name, Precious Pearl, is all about, a pearl initially is in the
Mm-hmm.
raw form is really nothing to look at. But when it's cleaned out and beautified and it's on a necklace or wrist as a gem, it's just beautiful to see. And that's
Yeah.
what that's what you epitomize, and that's what we're all about, empowering our world. So no matter what you've gone through, you come out and you shine. So what an amazing story. And there's something that's been on my mind. I've never heard your story before, right? Have we ever spoken? No, I've
No.
not. I mean, I didn't know about all this. And yesterday, something was strong on my mind. And I put that on my WhatsApp status. It's gone now. I think I put it on my Instagram status. And I said, there's someone out there that I feel so strong that there's someone out there who is very much in love with someone that's all about destruction and elimination. Please pray and pause and pray again. I just felt that so strongly. And I don't know, maybe someone out there is listening and you're very much in a relationship that is similar to what she's gone through. Just listen to everything that you can play this again. And I think now Facebook takes live off after like 30 days. So you have like, I think we're gonna take this and try and put it on our YouTube um page as well, so that you can go back to our YouTube and play and take tips out of it if you need to. Things that she's done. There's so many things that I was making notes of that I can't even remember everything. The praying she did over her son, the counseling. She made sure that she had counseling not for herself alone, as a group and individually, and just very structured and intentional counseling. How she's been intentional, how she's, been so security conscious, the way that she had a phone eating that the daughter could call the friends when she was in trouble, just things that you need to be proactive about if you're in that kind of situation, right? And having a support system is so
Yeah,
important.
it
It's
is.
so important. Like, I mean, I was speaking to a dear friend yesterday, and I said to her, you need to surround yourself with a support system. You can't be alone. Go
Yeah.
out there, go to church. Just make sure that you keep surrounding yourself with the right type of support system.
Can I just quickly
And
say something?
yeah,
Um, you know,
yeah,
my experience, currently I go to a Baptist church. It's predominantly white, and I'll tell you why. Because of my experience with the other church. The
right.
African churches, not all, the African
Mm,
churches tend to add tradition into religion.
mm,
And in doing that, they put women in situations they should not
yes.
be in.
Mm,
So, my own advice to people, I am not saying leave God out of anything. I will say
mm,
know God for yourself.
mm,
When you know God for yourself, nobody can come and tell you what God has not said.
mm,
It's important because everybody I mean, I won't say everybody, most people are just lazy. They're
mhm,
lazy.
yeah,
They want things done and said for
good.
them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when a pastor says this, they jump on it. There's
yeah.
no pastor that can say anything and I will jump on it. Now, my own pastor, I call him my own pastor. It was the one that did the wedding the first time. He was the one that did the blessing the second time. He's the one. I mean, there's nothing I do. Pastor always in there. That
Mm,
man is a man of God. He's a pastor. But let me
mm,
tell you, he will sit with you and tell you the truth.
mm,
He was the one that, in fact, when I went back, even when they said go back, he said for me, keep a record of everything he does. Make sure you have a journal, write everything down, keep a record, keep a record. And I kept records, and I kept records. And when I was leaving the final time, he was like, he's never going to change.
mm,
Because my ex called him almost a year after I left and
mm,
made it sound as if we just had a fight. Meanwhile, I hadn't told my pastor that I had left. So he called me and said to me, what happened? And I told him, and I said, don't go back.
mm,
He's never going to change. The way
mm,
he said it was as if it was just a small fight that just happened and you moved out. And I said, I can vouch he will never call you back because he knows you will call me and speak to me and get the truth. And this was almost a year. His family didn't know I had left until
mm,
almost a year as well. And that was because one of his siblings in Nigeria called me and said, oh, that he'd lost his phone and he's just found an address book with the number. Oh, how
mm,
are we? He wanted to say hi to his brother. And I said, we're not together. The man dropped his phone and then quickly called back. And he was begging me that, Bunmi, I'm sorry, forgive me. I didn't know. He's got 3 siblings here. They
Mm,
didn't know. His brother in Nigeria then called his siblings here. And they called me. And the next day they came to me. And they were like, Bunmi, we didn't know. When did this happen? They went to him for almost 2 hours. They were knocking on the door. He did not let them in. It
mm,
was his younger brother that said the older siblings should go. He will stay here. They said, no, they're not leaving him. Eventually, when maybe he thought they had gone, I don't know, he shall open the door and they were there. And they were looking at him like,
mm.
is something wrong with you? And I will also say this 2017, we left. It's 2025 now. So 2 more years will be 10 years we left. This man has still not let go.
Mm,
Sadly. And the sad thing is, he's making threats, not directly, but talking to the children and telling them what he's going to do to me, to my family, to my mom, calling everybody here and the other a witch, calling my friends witches and all that, telling
mm,
his children that.
mm,
So I never was the kind of mom that would say, oh, children don't have anything to do with your dad. I don't believe it's right.
mm,
But it got to the point whereby my oldest called me from university that she's just saying that, please don't let Jonathan, that's my son, the last one, he's 15 now. Don't let him see dad because everything dad says will mess his head up.
mm.
And I
Wow.
told him that, and she said because he said he wants to see them, and he's doing it in. He first of all met the middle one, who he called his favorite child, and that was why she attacked me all the while we were together. That you took me away from my dad, who loves me. You love number one, you love number three, but I don't have a position, but my dad loves me. So he used to talk into her ears. So
Mm,
now I don't blame some moms or even dads who go through this abuse when
because
they
of the
keep the
manipulations
children
and
away from their ex because they manipulate them so that they can hurt you. But it's the children they're hurting.
the
So I've
most.
kept my son away from him. And my son has said, in fact, when I told my son said, but I don't want to have anything to do with him. Why would I want to have anything to do with him? He's not a nice person. And that's him. For him, is black or white. There's no gray in between. And for him, like, I don't want. And he just walked away as if I was talking to myself. And that's it. He settled it.
Mm,
But I just want parents going through things like this to think first of their children and their children's well-being,
yes, yes,
because
absolutely.
the damage done, I mean, this is from studies. If it takes 5 years to cause damage to a child, it will take 10 years, double the time to fix it. We're still fixing it. We're not yet there, but
Mm,
we're a long way from where we were.
mm, mm. I'm praying healing over you, complete healing, because like you said,
Amen.
the healing is still going on,
Yeah.
but God has brought you such a long way away from the mess that your mess has now become a
Mm-hmm.
message. And that's the
Yeah.
most important bit. And I pray that this will go from just the book, it will become an institution, it will become something
Amen.
even beyond the wildest dreams that will impact children and shape them in a way that they should be shaped. Because I understand what you're saying when you say that the main school sometimes the curriculum is not for every child
It's
and
not.
failing children on so many levels. Because if you there's so
Mm-hmm.
many people like what's his name now, the Virgin boss who was dyslexic, right? If I
Yeah.
there's so many people who had sort of disabilities that they had to learn a different way, and look,
Wait,
a lot
yeah.
of those people are doing great now. So
Yeah.
it's just helping, to build another kind of curriculum for these children that will enable them to be who God has created
Yes,
them because we see
definitely.
them as definitely God has put something in them, but
He
the
has.
mainstream school cannot handle or does not recognize that we don't have the capacity for yet. And I
They're
believe
not trained for it, so they
they're not
can't do it, and
perfect.
it's not their fault.
Yeah. So I pray that people like you will take on the baton and you will lean into God to direct you into what his purpose is so that it can become such a great thing and the message can be worldwide and so global. And yeah, so amazing. One more quick one because we've outrun our time. What
Mhm.
advice will you give to anyone that's listening to us and your best advice today? To anyone listening to us has gone through or going through what you've gone through in the
I
past.
think in every situation, whether you're going through abuse, whether it's work related, whether it's with a child with special need, you need to love yourself first.
Mm,
That's what I do now. That's my motto. That's how I live my life. Self-love. Find time for yourself.
mm,
Find something that makes you happy. And
mm,
even if it's once a week, you're able to um, do that thing, do it consistently. If you
right.
like listening to music, like my sister, I'll tell you this. I use my sister a lot. This woman, if you mention beach, so long as there's water, beach, she'll follow you. And she will sit there. And she can sit there from morning till night.
Nice.
Find what gives you peace, what
Yes,
makes you happy, and what helps you rejuvenate yourself. Because physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you need to be 100%.
to
If you don't
function.
take care of yourself, you cannot give what you don't have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Bible says that love others as yourself. So that implies that you need to love ourselves. Because when we hear
Yeah.
that we're like to love others, so if you don't
No,
love
if you don't
yourself,
love yourself.
you love. So it's very important. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Self-love, self-care, everything you need to do to be at your topmost self
Yeah.
so that you can give your best self to the world.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if there's so many wonderful comments on a live. Let me see if there's any question. Quick one, and then we'll round up. Yeah, so many. So sorry to hear this. I just thank God for you. Link to buy the book.
I'll put the link
She
now.
just said it's on Amazon. Thank you. She's going to put the link now. Thank you for telling your story. You deserve the best because you have a heart of gold. Amazing, amazing. I totally agree with all these comments. You are such an amazing, and I'm so happy and proud that you're part of a community because that means we can bring you back on next time and you can deal with us in and yes, that's amazing. And that just fills my heart with so much joy because this is why we do what we do. And when we see this kind of outcomes, like, yes, God is so good. God is so good. And yes, that's it from us today. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
inspirational moment. Once again, sorry about the tech glitch that we had in the beginning. We're about 10, 15 minutes late. We're so sorry about that. I'll try to work on our speed next time. And that's it from us. Bumi, do you have anything else to say before we shut it off?
No, just go and enjoy the remaining of your Saturday. I'm going to
Yeah,
sleep now.
enjoy the remaining of your Saturday. And Bumi, thank you so much for that
You're
amazing
welcome.
story.
You're
So much
welcome.
a blessing. And I'm so sure that God has immense plans for you. And you're
Yeah.
covered, your children are covered.
Yeah.
No evil is
Amen.
permitted. Now you know that you're in our midst, right? And we pray every prayer warriors. So like those prayers are going out. Nobody there. There are warring angels there supporting you.
Mm.
You're blessed. You're blessed.
Amen.
And
Thank you
yeah,
so
everyone
much.
stay hooked for another story coming on soon, another inspirational moment coming on soon. And we're going to be going live soon with other amazing inspirational stories. Did I just cut you? Were you saying something, Bumi?
No, I said thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Bye. See you
Take
next.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.